of a response from anybody else, but who's going to ride with Coquard here? Nobody's going to want to ride with him. They know he's going to be the fastest rider in that group.
Yeah, it was interesting there. Coquard kind of trying to push the pace on, but no one was quite wanting to commit with him. I think everyone's still thinking about this final climb to Le Pan and not wanting to get caught out. The gap's there, but I think people are still focused on this last little hurdle to get over before the finish into Tours.
Yep. The climb of the Côte de Le Pan comes very, very shortly indeed. It's only a short climb, 600 metres long, a couple of hundred metres shorter than the previous affair, and they will be on it very, very shortly. It averages between 6 and 7%. Okay. Could it be enough to provide a springboard to victory to get today? They're about to swing onto it in just a few moments' time. The rider on the front for Intermarché Wanty Gobert is Loic Vliegen. He accelerates out of the saddle. On his wheel is the rider that's just been caught from the breakaway, still looking good. And now we have an attack from Total Energies on the downhill section approaching this climb. Immediately there's a response from Intermarché and AG2R Citroën, so more action with 11.2 k's to go.
Big attack there from the rider at Total Direct Energies, and it's a good place to go when everyone's just starting to look at each other, starting to sit up a bit and recover from that previous effort on the climb and just get the momentum going and go over the top and bring up a big gap straight away. These three riders going clear now.
Yeah, Vliegen attacks on the left-hand side there. A little bit of a flick of the elbow from the rider from Total Energies. And head down now for Vliegen, carrying a lot of pace. He's a very good time trialist as well, is Vliegen. He checks the gap behind. Again, really, really technical. Little bobble in the road there. And now accelerates hard into the bottom of this short climb. Only 600 metres long, but blimey, is he absolutely rampaging up this climb. 600 metres long. Good move here. And what is the response going to be behind? Because this is a horribly steep little affair.
He's really going for it here. This is kind of last chance saloon if you want to get ahead of the sprinters and catch them out. Big accelerations from everyone all round, and I think that's Coquard trying to get back on terms as well to these riders. Vliegen fading on the climb. Coquard trying his best to get on the wheel of these two from AG2R to Total Direct Energies.
That was a good move. Coquard is rider number 3. There's also got a teammate for company as well who's managed to get on terms. So 4 riders are moving clear, and they've got a big bit of daylight. I think that's Clement Venturini, who was animating the front of the bunch earlier on. He is a very, very fast finisher indeed. Has a little look around. Is he going to get any assistance? 2 from Cofidis in this move. 1 from AG2R and also 1 from Total Energies. So 3 of the biggest French teams now clear. But there's no real harmony here, is there? 10 kilometres to go now in La Roue Tourangelle, the 20th edition of this race. It is Destination Tours, and we have 4 riders out in front, but their lead is only a slender one. And I do sense a little bit of disharmony here, Connor.
Coquard not wanting to commit too much there, just letting his teammate come through and making sure the 2 riders behind did some work and didn't leave it to the 2 riders from Cofidis. I think Coquard's in 2 minds at this point. I'm not sure. He's looking at that gap behind and trying to decide if it's worth committing to or potentially just saving the legs for the sprinters through the moto. Just clip the hedge there. Did you see that?
Yes, they're really pushing it into these corners, aren't they? If you bank the bike over a little bit too much, you're going to catch it over one of those dry stone walls. It really is proper country lane stuff. And there's another rider trying to come across from Total Energies, I think, and also somebody there in a red jersey, either of Arkea Samsic or potentially the Swiss Racing Academy team. But still 4 riders out in front. Still haven't managed to identify who they all are. Definitely Brian Coquard is here, but 9 kilometres to go as they plummet off the top of the climb of Le Pan. There is no more climbing to go. They're heading towards Tours, and in only 5 kilometres time they will pass the finish line and they will get the bell. 1 short finishing circuit before we find out who is going to be the winner of the 20th edition of what has been a very, very exciting race so far on the roads of the Val de Loire.
No time gaps just yet to the peloton, but it's looking like quite a big margin, Matt. And I think if this rider is from Arkea Samsic chasing on, then it could be game over, because no one's going to want to chase behind. It's going to be left potentially just to FDJ. Coquard in a brilliant position right now, playing it really cagey too. He's not doing too much work. He's letting his teammate do the fair share of proceedings, and he's trying to save those legs. And this is really going clear, I think.
Yeah, that is Valentin Ferrand. who's just joined the back of that group. So Total Energies have 2 here. Cofidis have 2 here as well. And of course, AG2R have 1 in the mix, and there's still another rider to get back. And if indeed, as you just mentioned, Connor, it is a ride from Arkea Samsic, that should nullify the chase behind. It should be left onto the shoulders of Groupama FDJ, but the gap certainly isn't a big one. And until we pan out, we won't get an indication of how much it is, but a couple of little conversations a bit. Clearly, Cofidis are going to ride without a shadow of a doubt now, as are Direct Energies. This is a good move. Tightening up of the shoes there, and unsurprisingly, the rider from AG2R Citroën just is a little bit of a passenger at the moment. This is a good quintet of riders, and it is one of the riders from the Swiss Racing Academy who's got across that gap, Connor. What a ride by him.
Big rider. It was hard to pick out if it was a Swiss Racing Academy or Arkea Samsic, just that touch of red behind chasing on, but a great ride by him to rejoin this group on the descent. Just got a glimpse of the peloton then, it looked like a big margin, Matt. I think this group is going clear. There's going to be a big effort from behind to bring them back. 6 riders clear with 7.5k to go.
Yep, this is a good move. Cofidis with 2. Driving hard on the front. You can really get a sense of how difficult, well, what a chase it was from the man at the back from the Swiss Racing Academy. And there we go, Venturini, Coquard, Zongler, Dujardin and Ferrand. So 61 and 62. And Baudin, that's 171. It is, yeah, Baudin, Alex Baudin, the Frenchman from the Swiss Racing Academy. Well, there we go. So Zongler and Coquard. So very good little breakaway we have here. Exciting stuff here with the big teams. Well, 2 big teams. I think if it is going to get caught, there's going to be 2 teams chasing behind it desperately. That is Team Arkea Samsic and Groupama FDJ. Have this group got enough? Because it's little surges like that could break this little breakaway. It's all about trying to stay together. You need to go hard, but it's about doing smooth, long turns on the front. But as soon as you accelerate and fracture the group, your time is up, and there's a big chase going on behind. 6.6k's to go. Who is on the front? There's a couple of other teams. It's Uno X also chasing here, Connor.
Uno X, Arkea Samsic and FDJ with the numbers at the front there in the peloton. And I think this breakaway, I don't know if it's going to quite make it, Matt. Venturini not wanting to pull through, is he? He's sitting on, he's not wanting to pull through, and I think that's disrupting their rhythm too much. Coquard potentially finding himself in a bit of no man's land here, because after this effort he's going to try and have to settle himself and refocus on the sprint.
Yeah, well, that's the difficult thing. Do they keep on riding for the next couple of Ks, completely dead in their legs? So Coquard sat behind now. It's forcing his teammate to do the riding. Axel Zongel is the rider on the front for Cofidis. And just letting the gap go is Alex Baudin of the Swiss Racing Academy. But it does look like this might come back together. So this is a very interesting situation indeed. That was Venturini. Just you to see that little rueful shake of his head as we head into the centre of Tours. This city that was founded back in the Roman era. This is a gladiatorial performance by our 5 or 6 riders out in front. 7 riders, should I say, if I can get my maths right. 5.5 Ks to go in La Roue Tourangelle. They will soon go under the Flamme Rouge. Then they will cross the finishing line. They would take the bell. We have one short 4-kilometre finishing circuit before we will see who is the winner of the 20th edition of this race. And the lead of our riders out in front is only a slim one. There is the peloton. It does look, Connor, as if they're going to get caught within sight of the line.
It does look like it's coming back, Matt. And remember, this is the same lap that we do coming back to the finish. So we're kind of seeing the last kilometre of the race in 4 kilometres time now. So we're getting a bit of a glimpse of what's to come. It's not closed yet, though. It's not closed yet. And if it does come back, the riders who've chased here will have used so much energy to bring this one back into the bunch that you're going to wonder who's going to be left to actually control things. We're going to still see plenty of attacks to come, I reckon. Well,
there's the Flamme Rouge. So from this point, this is going to be an exact mirror of what happens on the final lap. 4.6 k's. This is the first left-hander. So you can just see very quick, maybe just a little bit of feathering of the brakes around that one, although it was a quick one. Then we have another left-hand corner, then the finishing straight. So we only have, I think the last turn comes with about 350 metres to go. Clément Venturini, the Frenchman, 28 years of age, rounds that corner first. And in a few moments' time, they will get the bell. There are 6 riders out in front, 2 from Cofidis, 2 from Total Energies, 1 from the Swiss Racing Academy and 1 from AG2R. They've still got a decent gap. Well, this is absolutely fascinating. They take the bell and they only have around 6-10 seconds. It's Konovalovas on the front. I think it is indeed Konovalovas chasing desperately for Groupama FDJ. What a finish we are being treated to, Connor. 1 lap to go now.
And it's really not many riders left behind in that bunch. I guess I'd say 30, 40 potentially left to the likes of Arkea and FDJ, but these riders are going to be so fatigued after this chase that when this comes back together, it's going to be a tough last 3K, Matt. And I say when it comes back together, if it comes back together, because those 6 riders up front, they're putting up a brave show here.
They're absolutely flying. This is a Gilles de Bilde at the back, the Belgian for Sport Vlaanderen. What is happening at the front, because it's a very, very interesting situation. 2 of the fastest finishers in this race, Clément Venturini and Brian Coquard, are riding in that front group, but the group isn't too far behind, so it's crucial now that the teammates of the fast finishers do a bit of riding, and that is what we're seeing. Axel Zongler now on the front, trying to commit as best he can. Then also we will definitely get some strong riding from Total Energies, from Dujardin and Ferrand. But this is a real bit of sacrificial riding now from Axel Zongel. He needs to keep on trying, but as you said, there are really depleted resources just behind Connor. This is so tense. 3.2 Ks to go.
So tense. I think Coquard now needs to start rolling through a little bit, because otherwise the likes of Venturini are going to sit on as well and say, if you're not working, I'm not working, because they all need to commit here if they're going to stay away. But it's tight because Coquard for me is the stronger of the 6 in the sprint for sure. And it's these moments where it just is so hard to close, because you can just see them dangling in front of you, and it's that last little effort to close it, and you just can't quite make it. And on this tight city centre loop, this is going to be a tough one. Nasser Bahani still in this group though. I just saw him around 10th wheel in the bunch there.
Well, it's difficult to put a clock on it. 6 riders out in front though. AG2R Citroën have Clément Venturini. He sat in 3rd position in that white jersey. Dujardin and Ferron are there for Total Energies. The 2 riders from Cofidis, Brian Coquard, one of the pre-race favourites, also has Axel Zongel, who just drops to the back, who's put in some big turns on the front to keep this breakaway. There again is the composition of the breakaway, and the final man in this group who just hits the front in the red jersey is Alex Baudin. What a ride it was by him to get across this gap. 2.3 Ks to go, and the bunch are still breathing down their necks, and the gap is about to be closed, I think, but it's still around 20 metres to that group. They cannot get in contact. 2.1 Ks to go, Connor. What an absolutely sensational finale to this French Cup race, La Roue Tourangelle. It has really delivered, and it's still yet to be decided.
This is a whopper of a finale, coming together just inside 2K to go. It looks like the catch is about to be made now. Coquard is going to be very grateful that he didn't do too much in this group. Although at the same time, people question maybe he could have kept things ahead of the bunch if he had just committed that little bit more.
Well, this is absolutely fascinating stuff. I think Alex Baudin looks around and he won't believe it, because the bunch has come back, and just on the left-hand side now is the red, white and blue of Groupama FDJ. Coquard jumps straight into the slipstream. You were right. He's missed a few turns, but he's going to get bumped around at the moment. Groupama FDJ take things into the finish. This is Miles Scotts and Raymond Sinkeldam not too far away. They'll be looking after Jacopo Guarnieri, the Italian, normally leading out. Arnaud Demar, who won last year, just in 4th wheel at the moment is the Frenchman Nasser Bouhanni in the red kit, another one of the pre-race favourites. It's all back together. 1.2 Ks to go, Connor.
This is going to be tight, isn't it, Matt? Who's your money on? I'm going for Bouhanni at this stage. He's played his cards perfectly. He's sat in the bunch. He hasn't been drawn into those attacks. He's 4th wheel now with the FDJ lead out going.
Well, this is absolutely spectacular stuff. Thomas Bouda is also there in the pink and white jersey. 1 kilometre to go, just under. It's still Groupama FDJ on the front. 2 more corners to go before the finish of La Roue Tourangelle 2022. Groupama FDJ have 3 riders at the front. Nasser Bouhanni is the rider just looking round in the black helmet with the red top just on his wheel. I think it is Thomas Bouda coming into the fishes at 1 big turn by Raymond Sinkeldam, who looks around, gets sight, coming in to the final finishing straight. Who's it going to be now? Guarnieri winding things up. Venturini is also there. This is one long lead out down at the finishing straight. This is absolutely superb stuff here. And Coquard is still there as well. Nasser Bouhanni is in wheel number 3. The grimace as they start to open things up. Who is going to take this one? Who goes first on the left-hand side? Well, it is Groupama FDJ. Just coming round the left-hand side is Nasser Bouhanni in the centre. Bouhanni in the red of Arkea Samsic. He glances round and he takes the win for Arkea Samsic. Coquard in second place. But in the end, it was patience and power from the man from Arkea Samsic. They left it late. Groupama FDJ sewed it together. But the man from Arkea takes the win in traditional pugnacious style.
What a win, Matt, and he played that one perfectly. He must have been so nervous when that group of 6 was going away with Coquard and Venturini. And I think he was probably questioning whether it would come back at all. He played it calm, cool, took the win at the end, had all the power when it counted in that sprint. Edging up Bram Welton, I think it was, from FDJ. Brilliant ride.
Yeah, it was indeed Bram Welton. I thought it was going to be Jacopo Guarnieri, but Bram Welton looking good. Big smile there from Nasser Bouhanni, who takes the congratulations from Kevin Van Quillen. And when you think about Arkea Samsic today, they had a real depleted resource. Only 4 riders to look after Nasser Bouhanni from Epinal, and that was his first win of 2022. And for sprinters, so important. But I do spy a little bit of a smile on the countenance of Nasser Bouhanni. But he took that one well. He waited, didn't he? Waited very late until he went by. But a good win. And in the end, Connor, a convincing one, in fact, in that sprint.
Really convincing win in the sprint. But I think what was more impressive was how he stayed so calm on those climbs. He was caught out a few times, and his teammates did such a good job to bring him back into contention. A couple of times there where if he didn't have those